Do you know what? I've been watching a lot of Netflix recently, and I've been watching that Penguin. Have you seen it?
No.
Is that with Colin Farrell?
By the way, what an actor. You know what, you watch actors, you know, Tom Cruise, you know what you're going to get with Tom Cruise. A good actor, but you see him in a lot of the same roles.
Yeah.
Colin Farrell, you've seen him in a few films. They're always different, but this one, wow, it just stands out. I'm like, what a great actor.
Is this for Batman? He's the villain,
Yes, it's
Okay.
Gotham City.
And is it Netflix?
I think it's on it's Netflix. I'm sure it's Netflix. I hope it is.
Or else you've just given away your illegal streaming platform. Not that I said that out loud.
The Dirty Truth. There you go. That's a good shoe.
That's a good
The
good
Dirty
chat.
Truth.
The dirty truth.
The Dirty Truth in business. How do you deal with complaints? Because everybody says, my business is great, it's doing great. I mean, like, we all know, every entrepreneur, every business owner knows, yeah. Let's talk the dirty truth. When you do get a complaint, how do you deal with that?
Well, you know, you have to go back one step. You know that only 3% of people ever complain. When you go to a restaurant and the food's bad or the service is bad, only 3% of people will ever complain. Okay? So what that then does is when that 3% of people, that 7% or 70% or say 97% of people leave, they go tell 12 other people how bad their experience was. And 12 other people that's never been to a restaurant thinks that the place is rubbish because their friends had a bad experience. But they never allowed the establishment the opportunity to fix it because they didn't talk. And this is what the dirty truth is about, is how do you deal with honest, constructive criticism from a client where the client is not really unreasonable? Because sometimes we think clients are unreasonable. But we live in an era where if I order something on my phone today, I expect Amazon to deliver it tomorrow. And if they don't, all hell breaks loose.
As managing the expectation, and a lot of the complaints and a lot of the problems in business comes down to lack of communication. Now, some people might think that's a flippant reply, but what does that look like? It's back to what we said in previous episodes. It's about touch points with clients. How many touch points do you have? Because you need to get to know them. They need to get to know you. And like anything, if you like them, they know you, they trust you, they'll find it more difficult to be horrible to you. And they'll want to tell you, but your job as a boss, as an owner of a business, do you want to extract that information, the dirty truth? The dirty truth, because it's so important, because not everything goes perfect in your business, and you don't want people leaving that, you don't want to leave a bad taste in someone's mouth.
Well, it's knowing as well. You've got to know. Otherwise, how are you ever going to improve?
Well, aye.
And if you think everything's just perfect, every job's perfect, every project, whatever you're doing is perfect, not getting any feedback as to why it's not perfect, and then you just carry on thinking you're the bee's knees until it just suddenly hits you right in the face.
But one thing, a helpful tip, over my journey, we put questionnaires out. Now, a lot of people said you do it digitally because it's more cost effective. However, some people don't fill it out. So sometimes if you've got a prepaid envelope, you can fold it up and you can give it to them and says, we really need you to score us on this. And the way you ask the questions, it really lets them go, they're giving me an opportunity to say this. You're better getting it on that than somebody being disgruntled and putting a nasty review up. A lot of people won't do that anyway because they have got their own integrity, and it's an emotion as well. It just shows that lack of maturity as well, somebody having a big rant online. It really does. I think it does. I'm really annoyed. I'm going to go and put a review up. Shut up, you tart.
Yeah,
seriously.
You see
phone
that.
the person and tell them, give a bit of integrity, a bit of backbone. Say, listen, I'm really not happy with service. I know you might be a really good person. If it's a restaurant or it could be a business owner of a small boutique, I know you're probably trying your best, but this is not being really great. I'm really, really sorry that you felt that way. Listen, come in. Give people the opportunity. Don't be a twat and just go to a review and try and destroy someone because you've had a fucking moment.
I think once you get into business, you get a bit more appreciation as to what goes on in the background of things, and that things won't go 100% right all the time.
See, I like the way that you explained that in a nice diplomatic way, where I've just went emotions right in.
Call something a tart early.
I know, but it fucks me off when you see this. People, we're all wanting reviews for that. Kudos. Like 4-star out of 5. Brilliant. You don't believe in perfection. That's great, but write it down and explain to people, because this is somebody's livelihood. Can you imagine somebody scoring them on their day working for somebody? Yeah, Fiona wasn't really good because she arrived 10 minutes late, and do you know what? She left our coffee cup on the table. It was really bad pattern. It really annoyed me. You're like, that's kind of what you're doing. You're reviewing someone, their livelihood. God, come on. Have the conversation. Speak to the person. Explain what you're not happy with.
Why do you think that? Why do you think that's happening?
Because we've got a society of fuckers that are just so happy
but
to rant
why?
like me.
Why?
Now.
There's a keyboard
Ranting.
warrior.
Why?
fraternity.
Because they've
Why?
maybe not got enough going on in their own life.
Why?
Vickers wants to know why.
I want to understand why people are like that, and I really genuinely do, because injustice happens.
Discipline, structure, the old traits from people having a bit of stature, a bit of gumption, a bit of, I don't know, just a bit of backbone.
Have we lost our moral compass?
I think so. We've got a society, a lot of snowflakes. Would you go and write a bad review? Tell me if you write a bad review.
No.
Would you write a bad review?
Probably not. Depends what it is, though.
I don't believe
Why? Why would you? It depends what it was.
As in, because it's the same thing. A review's a bit of an after the fact. If you're
I
going
know,
to
but
say something,
I would say something
there,
nice.
that.
If you've got nothing to say, if you've got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all.
That is such good advice. But if
That's
you
generally how I am, actually.
But phone them up and give them a quiet ear. Like, listen, just a couple of pointers. I know you're trying your best. Da 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 da. And that's up to the business owner to respond like a complaint, respond in the right way. Listen, I really appreciate that feedback. That must have taken a lot of, strength and confidence to actually phone me up, because even in trades, typically we know a client doesn't want to say anything. If she's sitting in the toilet and she sees a wee snag, I don't want to tell them because I know how tradesmen react. This is what sets you apart from everybody else. Go and seek and find anything we could have done better. When you're phoning them, listen, thanks very much for the work, but is there anything we could have done better? Because sometimes you'll notice a couple of things. Listen, it's no bother. I want to make sure you're happy. That is going to just...
But you also need to look at
Take
the
the weight
flip
off them.
side, because clients are sometimes afraid that when they tell you something, the way owners of businesses react, the way they go, this client is just an idiot. What do they know anyway?
But this is down to when you're doing a client journey and the touch points, you're also trying to get an idea who this client is, what's making them tick. And I always say to my team, attack the fears. We've been going for a long period of time. We know what the stumbling blocks are. So, and you might know this as well, Mike, when you're doing a big extension, a big renovation, you know at the last part of it, maybe the last 5%, they're getting tired. They can see the potential. They can see the house nearly finished, but it's just dragging out because they can visually see it. Well, we know we've still got loads to do, but they're getting a bit antsy. Oh, the dust, the stool. Just make sure come on, hurry up, come on. That's the bit that you have to manage.
Last mile delivery failure. So do you know the concept about last mile delivery failure?
I've never heard that before.
Amazon is not worried about when you place the order. Amazon is worried about where the driver's 8 stops away. Can he deliver your parcel? Does the van break down? Because that's where logistics fail. It's in the last mile. They call it last mile delivery failure.
Right.
So in your business, you need to watch out for last mile delivery failure. Doesn't matter how good you are. You're going to drop the ball at some point. Okay? It's how you take responsibility for that.
Exactly.
And a lot of people don't want to take responsibility. We don't want to take responsibility for our actions. And you see that. You see that everywhere. You know how I know? It's when you start defending, when you use the word but, you're not taking responsibility. Then you're trying to justify. And the moment you try and justify, you've lost the battle to your client because your client switches off.
I think it was you who said this in the early stages when we're doing this podcast. Explain to them, rinse and repeat what they've actually said to you.
Effective communication.
Yeah, because it makes them feel that they're being listened to.
There's an onboarding process as well. If you've got a good onboarding process, then that early part of your client journey, you're getting the information that you need to, deliver at the end of it all. Whereas if you're not really doing that correctly at the start, you will miss things. And they might have said something to you that you've not noted. and then that comes up. And you will find as well, if it does start to go a bit pear-shaped, when they notice that little thing there, and then it's not dealt with properly, they'll then start to go and purposely look for everything else that they can find. And suddenly your list's as long as your arm.
So when you start your business, you don't really care about anything we've just spoken about. Guaranteed. You're there to make money. So it's important that you start looking at things like this. And what Michael has just described as a standard operating process, you need to write it down. Just everything can be tied back to a process, whether you like it or not.
Again, and we've said this time and time again, it's how your client feels. I don't care I do care, but if you're getting a client that's just, they're just a nightmare, they slip through the net, they are an absolute arse.
You can't do anything with them.
Good. Find a way around it. And in my wee twisted head, I love that. Sometimes I'm like, I am going to make them giggle. I'm going to have a wee laugh with them. I'm going to find something that we've got a commonality on, and I'm just going to drag that out. So we leave them feeling good, I feel good, and we've got a solution. Because people are people. We're so alike. You just have to find that thing that you're aligned with them and make them feel good. Make them feel heard. You know, it might be that they're having trials and tribulations in life, and you're just the guy who's getting it. You are just getting it. So you've got to see that with their mannerisms, study them. And this is why it's always good face to face. This email back and forward can't read tone. It's already, the tone is set with the complaint and the negative. So the best thing to do is go front door, see them, phone them, FaceTime them, find a way around it. There's no excuses. Right. And that's the thing. There is no excuses.
Yeah, so step one is communicate and effective listening. So you talk to the client, you go, am I right in hearing what you're doing? Step two, I would say, is take responsibility. Go, I can see how you can feel that way. You just identify with the client, and then you say, let me go back and investigate. But it does appear that there's a big problem here. So you've taken responsibility. I think that goes a long way, because nobody wants to take responsibility anyway. And then you need to be true to your word. If you say, I'm going to get back to you within 5 days, you need to get back within 3, because that shows the client that you actually care. But then you need to come back with a solution. How are we going to fix this? Or how is this not going to reoccur? Because very often we just pay clients lip service. We don't actually change anything. If you're really honest with yourself, a lot of times you just go, yeah, we'll do this. But a lot of business owners do that. And the same thing happens. And it doesn't impact your business now, but it's over time. What does your business stand for? What culture are you perpetuating?
Exactly, and that's what it'll build.
It builds over time. You don't see it. You don't see it straight away.
Because there's a difference as well between, like, the complaints themselves. You could have a complaint where most people just want an apology and an answer, and a solution, and it's easily dealt with if you just deal with it. But if it's an official complaint, then you really, as a business, you do want to have a complaints procedure, and that is, a bullet point of how you're going to deal with that. So if they complain, if it's a written complaint coming in, you're going to reply within 2 weeks for that, with a bit of investigation that you've got to do on your side. But then you have to stick to that. And once you go out with that, that's when you've got some real problems. If you get the wrong client, you can get dragged through the coals with that.
You also have to be aware when people are complaining. Like, I'll give an example. A hotel. They're complaining. They're ultimately
what is the complaint? First, tell me what the complaint is.
Sticky carpets,
Still. Well, they're maybe not happy with the bedroom. It was a bit untidy. Right. Okay. What are they wanting? What's the outcome for them? I want to highlight it. Right? You want to highlight it. You don't have to put that in a big review. You can complain to the management and say, look, this is a helpful tip. We weren't happy with that. We're not wanting money back from it, or they might want money back from it. You've got to think, what do they want from this? Are they just doing it the kindness of their heart? So that's what you have to reply on the basis of what they're actually looking for. I know if somebody's complained to me about for something that's happened.
Are they looking for a discount?
They might be looking for a discount and go, right. But sometimes there's genuine people want to just help you as well. There are some complaints where they're just giving you constructive criticism. But in today's society, I would say the proportion of people doing it, the majority of people are doing it because they want something out of it.
Do you think that maybe sometimes people post reviews because they feel that they won't be heard? Do you think that sometimes they think, let me post this review not only to air my opinion, which is not the way to do it, but they feel that even if they take it to, let's say it's a big chain of hotels, the Hilton, Holiday Inn, and they have a bad experience and they talk to the manager, do you think that they feel that they won't be heard and nothing would happen from it? Or are they worried about the outcome? They're looking for something, a free night here, 20% discount. What do you think?
So if you put a review, and it's a good question to ask, but if you put a review up, you've already made the mistake. You've already made the mistake. Because I can assure you, you're in my black book and I'll come for you.
I know where you live.
You're saying that in a good way.
I'm only kidding you. I'm only kidding.
But think about it.
If somebody wants to leave a review up, I will, and they've not phoned us and they've not done anything, my first instinct is to get them, phone them, set up a meeting, contact them, and I want a face-to-face.
Yeah.
I want to ask them why they thought about trying to destroy my business and my reputation and taking money out of my pocket so I can't take my daughter or my son to the football, swimming, all these things. And that's how I play it, because let's be totally honest here, they're dicks. Anybody wants to do it, and I know you've got your letting business and there's a whole procedure there for complaint procedure. However, they'll only go down that, I think, the decent ones will only go down that route because they've not been heard by the manager and somebody's not phoned them back 3 days or 5 days later. So that's a procedure, complaints procedure. I understand what you were saying there. But this is why you've got people on the phone, you've got people on email, replying back and say, thank you very much for that. I'm really sorry you feel that way. However, we're going to search and we're going to seek and we're going to find the solution. Can we give you a call back? When's the best time to give you a call back? That means that client's like, right, I've been heard. Right, okay. And sometimes it's just venting.
That's the biggest part. I think.
Yes, if you nail that, there'll be a small percentage of people that instantly go to review.
Yeah,
You've got to think what these people's mentality are. What their mentality is to go and
So how do you deal with that? So if somebody posts a bad review, do you wash your dirty laundry right there in social media so everybody can see? Because we live in an age where everything is
you
available.
reply, you kill it with kindness. Thank you, Mr. Sutherland, whatever. Thank you very much for your reply. I will need to look into this to see what's actually happening. When are you next available so I can give you a call?
And you just put that and you just leave it there. And
if they reply again and again, you're like, this is an arsehole. And it's hard because people will feel. I've read reviews, by the way. Sorry, just saying, I've read reviews because you instantly are drawn to the negative. And I'm looking at it and say, how did they respond? And the guy in this other business replied beautifully. I went, well done, mate. Well done. You just fucking got them straight back. Because it's a shocker. It's shocking. Anybody leaving bad reviews for people.
You know that story about the social media influencer that asked a guy in Ireland. She said, I've got so many thousands of followers. I want a free night at your hotel. He goes, sorry, we don't do things for free. So she says, well, I'm going to tell all my followers. So he goes, yeah, sure. But he also had a big following. So there's a big backlash between the two followers. And that's the culture we've created. And I say we've created this culture.
That's called blackmail.
Yeah, because I'm a social media influencer. How does that translate into business? How's that even fair?
Is there a legal approach to that one?
I don't think so, but I'm no legal expert, but I don't think there is. I think it's just in an age where we've lost our backbone. We've lost our way. Make no mistake about that. We don't have a moral compass. Whatever anybody tells me, I beg to differ. And you know how I know it? Because we can't sit around a table and have a conversation anymore. We have to sue one another. We have to post bad reviews. We don't just sit around and say, listen, let's just solve this over a cup of coffee. It's just...
I don't agree with this gentleman, all the things he says, right? But Dan Pena,
yeah,
right? P-E-N-A. I watch him and I giggle at myself. He's a ruthless fucker, right? He's driven in business. But I take my hat off to him. He keeps talking about the snowflake generation, right? I know some people get in the bandwagon with it, but there's a lot said about it, but the snowflake generation. And he says a few flippant remarks. Show me your friends, I'll show you your future. He says the people you hang about with, the average, and we know this already, and we've said this before, but he goes to town. Somebody doesn't even look in your eye, doesn't shake your hand, hand properly. He says, just the moral compass, your moral code, just the basics of your discipline. You go phone somebody, you tell me to go phone them, you bloody phone them back. And you stick to your guns. He does say never apologise. Right? I don't agree with that side of things. But he must be late 70s, early 80s, billionaire, lives in Forford. Now he's wanting to become an MP for Cooper Angus. But he's a hard rock like. People will learn, youngsters scouring the internet, watching YouTube videos that are fully crap. Go and get an education out there off YouTube. Use the tool to better serve yourself for later on. Watch guys like that. Take snippets from him. Watch motivational quotes and really get a sense of purpose and what you can actually do, because you've all got a gift there. Don't be the next generation of these complainers and whiners and moaners and people putting bloody bad reviews up. Have a word with yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror and go, who am I? What am I? Am I one of these twats? No, you're not. Become better. Become stronger. Become braver. All of that.
I will say this to you: if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for everything. And what are we standing for? That's the thing, is what are you standing for?
I feel this has been like a Jeremy Kyle moment. So I actually feel like I feel actually a bit better.
Jeremy Kyle, just get it off your.
When you reached it, I don't know where I'm going to go with it.
Neither do we, John. Neither do we.
I'm sitting there going, don't say that, don't say this, don't say that. I don't know.
But it is. I mean, complaints are going to happen in your business, whichever way you go to. There are going to be unhappy customers. Okay. But it's about taking responsibility. We've become really, really bad at being accountable and taking responsibility. It doesn't mean that you're wrong. I think people get so frustrated. It's just an opinion. Yeah. Everybody's got one.
And it's
like
also,
a belly button.
It's important as well to know that you can apologise. Like you can, even if it's not your fault, you're not going to get taken to court for apologising. You're not, there's no admission to guilt there. If somebody's had a bad experience, I'm sorry that that's happened, and
I'm sorry that you feel that way.
Whereas where can you go now? But it does give you. There's always that opportunity to plug a gap of something that's went wrong, but until people tell you, you'll never know that there's issues there, and you think your business is great.
So in my wee mind, that's all great in saying sorry, but you need to, as much as you could probably say that very quickly in a wee sentence. In my head, I'm like, no, you need to elaborate a little bit more. So when you're apologising for how you've made the person feel. So I'll give an example of that. You've arrived late at a job. Say, listen, I'm really sorry that we've put you out, because you've probably got up earlier expecting us to be here, and us strolling in 15 minutes late has really annoyed you, and I'm really sorry for that, especially if you're going to have to try and get the kids to school or get a train. That's an apology. Mm. I'm really sorry for being late.
That's not an apology.
That's just a sentence. That you have to describe the feeling and what
if you're
you've caused.
A complaint, there's a complaint happening, so you've already got an idea of what's where their mindset is with it.
Yeah, and the best way of an apology, it's like anything. If you're chatting up a girl, chatting up a guy, you do a little bit online, but you need to do it face to face. And it's like in a complaint, you can do a little bit here, but the biggest impact is face to face.
I think things can go. Like, you can read emails and texts completely out of context for how they've been written.
100%.
And things can go very pear-shaped quickly there. So.
People type in capital letters.
That's like me when I'm doing it. I've got fingers like Q's tits. Do. How do you spell that?
So it's important to not react on that as well, then. Don't be reactive. If you get a complaint and you're going to take that, especially early doors, quite personally.
Yeah.
But you need to just take some time, just get all the facts for one, and then when you're ready to reply professionally, that's when you can.
So, do you know what a good tip is? And don't do it on your computer, but take a piece of paper. Get a book.
Word document. That's how I do it. Just stick on a Word document.
I'm always worried about things like that, because you get sidetracked, you might send it, but you get a book and you write down your reply, you write it down, and then you leave it for a day or two. And then you're like, okay, maybe I'll take this out. And by day 5, when you reply, you're actually a lot calmer, because in an emotional state, you make the wrong decision. You make a knee-jerk decision because you don't know what happens.
I'll tell you, if you wait 5 days to reply to me, I'll definitely put a review up.
No. Well, thanks for the
It's like getting a quote out.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for a reply, a yes or a no.
You-
Or maybe
you need to get out.
You want to be on that first day, 1 or 2 days maximum. I mean, things happen. You go on holiday and whatnot. But if you see something that's that important coming up, you need to be, because your business is your baby. You need to look after it.
You want to be on top of it.
And it's like somebody's got a gun to it. You go, oh, right. Better get this dealt with very, very quickly. Be responsive. But you're 100% right. When you first start your business, it's painful. Somebody's just hit my baby. Oh no, how dare they? But that's what happens. It's what happens. You get more comfortable as you go. The years pass, and you get
Like
better at dealing with
if you
things.
get a complaint coming in, you need to respond to that. But the way that I would deal with it with things, if I'm not ready to reply to this, I'm just going to escalate it the way I'm feeling here. I would just reply with a thanks for letting me know, email. If you could give me a couple of days on this, and I'll get back to you and whatever. You just as long as you've recognised that you've got that complaint in, then take some time to actually deal with it, rather than just being reactive.
So all you're showing is that the person complaining has been heard,
Yep.
that
And
you're
then-
doing something about it, and that you're going to get back to it.
And then you put in those timescales, and if you don't have an actual written complaints procedure, if you're saying I'll get back to you in X amount of days, then you just need to make sure that you are getting back, because then you are just escalating because you said you would get back to me.
So tell me, why is it important to have why is it important to have your written complaints procedure written down? Why is that important?
Well, it's giving you a black and white plan of how you deal with things if a complaint comes in, and that's given clarity for your clients and yourself as to what's going to happen here, and then you just need to stick to that. If you
Okay.
stick to it, then they don't have any. You could go through a process there where the outcome is that you feel that there's not an issue here. That actually, you're the issue, just to put it blunt. And then it's up to them then if they want to go to an ombudsman. But if you've done what you've said you were going to do within your written complaints procedure, they have no comeback on that.
Okay, give me another reason why it's important to write it down, Johnny.
Documenting it,
Why?
because if you have to go to court, you've already documented it.
I want you guys to just scale it back. Why is it important to write it down?
Well, I feel like I'm on the spot here. a wee
So
bit.
you remember what you've said.
No, there's all that. But any complaint, you're
Stop putting us in a corner.
Okay, so the reason why you do it is because eventually you two won't be the two dealing with the complaints. Your team will be. And how do they know to deal with a complaint if you haven't taught them and you haven't written it down?
it's another procedure.
Just another procedure. Business, and if you look at the difference between management and leadership, okay, leaders get everybody riled up. Everybody's going to take the pitchforks. We're going to run after the ogre that lives in the swamp. Management's procedure is to just calm everybody down and say, listen, let's just structure it a little bit. Management is about policies, processes, systems, and workflow. Okay, and leaders' jobs are to empower managers to do that. You need a good sense of leadership and management to do both of that. But you need to understand the different roles, because leaders inspire. People believe it. So, Elon Musk, whether you like him or not, he goes into Twitter and they've got servers. And he goes, why do we have 3 server farms? We only need 1. Everything's in the cloud. And they go, you know what? And they try and explain to him. He goes, no, this is the way it's going to be. And then he goes, they go, okay, we'll decommission 1, 6 months. He goes, no, you'll do it in 6 weeks. And he takes an axe to do it, and he chops the servers so that he forces them to do that. Okay, that's not leadership. That's definitely not leadership. Okay,
Is that like dictatorship?
that's more like a dictatorship. But leadership is it settles it. When a crisis happens, a leader's job is to settle everybody down and go, listen, guys, we're going through a tough time, but I have got this vision. I've got this plan. Be calm. Management's position is to reassure them. You've heard the leader. He says he's got a plan. We're going to just follow the process. We're just going to keep on doing what we're doing. If you look at sport, okay, sport's very, very good like that. If your team, whatever sport you support, if your team's bad in the first 10 minutes, the leader calls the team together and say, listen, guys, settle down. We've done this 100 times. We know what we're doing. Let's go back to basics. And then the managers in the team, the sub-leaders, they go, okay, this is the policies and the processes we take.
You make it sound so easy.
I do. I mean, sometimes when I sit here, I think, hell, it's so easy, but it's not, because you're stuck in the thick of things. And it's emotional. When somebody says something to you, right, it's your baby, you're like, they're so ugly to me. Mom, please come here. And then your mom jumps in.
See, was that really interesting? Nobody ever asked for dad.
That's true.
nature.
That's
See,
true.
when a kid hurts itself, Mom! They go, Dad! They're like, eh? It's Mum.
Especially
mothering.
siblings. Siblings. They take care of you. You know, you can say what you want. Nobody must say anything bad about your siblings because siblings stick together. They've got one another's best interests at heart. Even if they fight like cat and dog, they've got one another's backs.
do.
And that's the same as business.
Should be.
Yeah. So anybody out there that thinks leaving a bad review for people, shame on you.
Yeah, that is unacceptable.
Especially if you're a business owner.
Yeah, that is unacceptable.
Especially if you're a business owner.
You should know better.
You should. Should have known better.
On that note.
This is your world. Shape it or someone else will.